Hey guys, I'm the Burke and I do things, and today's video is going to be my best makeup that I found in the year 2019. I tried to be very selective when it came to deciding what I wanted, and I didn't necessarily want to pick one of each category, but I just wanted to focus on like what I thought was some of the best makeup I found. So there are some categories where I don't have anything. There are some categories where I have a multiple of things. So if that is something you guys want to see, then keep on watching. Let's go. Okay, so I'll kind of go through things in the order that I do makeup on my face. So as far as primers go, I didn't really have a new amazing primer that I felt like I found this year. So we're gonna skip over that and go right into foundations. I have 4 different foundations to talk about, but they kind of all are a little different. So I thought these are 4 types of foundations that I found this year that I really liked. Okay, so we can start with the foundation I'm wearing today. So I did decide to go with my favorite high-end foundation that I tried out this year, and that is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. If you could see, it's about down to here. I've really used about half of this year, and it is such a nice foundation. It has such like a natural look to the skin. It is so expensive though. It's almost $50, and that's why I have reservations about it, because even when I bought this, the shade Mont Blanc isn't the best shade match for me. So like right now, my self tanner is fading. So it's like, it kind of works, but it also kind of doesn't work. And I didn't like that. I felt like I couldn't financially have like a couple of foundation shades to like mix and match whenever I wanted. But now that they came out with a mini size of this, I'm actually even more intrigued now, because I would like to have a couple mini sizes instead to be able to play shade matching rather than just have one full size. So I feel like when I do run out of this one, I might replace it with like 2 different minis and then like have multiple colors I can make out of it. That's just kind of what I'm thinking. Okay, now the next 3 foundations I have are all drugstore foundations. So we'll start with probably the one I've used the most this year, and it's probably the foundation that I would say stands out amongst all foundations I tried this year, and that's the L'Oreal Fresh Wear foundation. This stuff is amazing. Like, I'm not a mattifying foundation kind of girl. This isn't matte, but it is somewhere between a satin and matte finish that looks perfect on the skin and lasts the entire day. So for some reason, I cannot tell how low this is, but it feels really low, which makes me think it's really getting down there and empty. This has been like the foundation that has semi-replaced L'Oreal Pro Glow in my life, because that was my favorite go-to long-wearing foundation. But something about this is so reliable and so perfect, and it has been such a standout product to me this year. Okay, then as far as a hydrating dewy foundation, I would say my standout has been the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Hydrate Foundation. I did a full wear test with this on one side of my face and the Fenty Beauty Hydrating Foundation on the other side, and I would say they're very, very similar, very different in price. However, this one I think is longer wearing and has better coverage than the Fenty. And to me, this is the reason I would never repurchase Fenty, because I think that this is a better formula than Fenty and obviously a much better price point. My last foundation is more of a tinted moisturizer, so I thought I would share with you what my favorite tinted moisturizer I found this year was, and this was on Samantha March's recommendation, and this is the Neutrogena Healthy Skin Anti-Aging Perfector. I wore this so much on vacation. It's nice and lightweight, but it gives you a little coverage, kind of evens everything out, but it also has, it is a moisturizer, it has a retinol in it, and it has SPF, so it has like a bunch of things within it besides just being a tinted moisturizer, and for me this is the best one I tried all year. So now let's jump into concealers. So when I thought of best concealers I found this year, I feel like I don't really have a problem finding full coverage mattifying concealers, so I didn't want to go in that direction. I wanted to talk more about hydration under the eyes, because I feel like as a 30-year-old lady, I like to have some hydration under my eyes. So I thought of 2 concealers, one drugstore, one higher end, that were able to give me that this year. So the first one is from First Aid Beauty. This is the Bendy Avocado Concealer. I used a full one up this year and bought one in the latest Sephora sale. This is really good for a very thick, high coverage concealer, because this one is very thin, and I feel like it helps thin out and moisturize a more thick concealer that can sometimes get cakey or a little crusty under my eyes. That's why I really like this one. On the other hand, this one is drugstore. This is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Hydrate Concealer. And this one is thicker and has a lot more coverage, which I really like. This is the concealer I'm wearing today. I mixed it with the Milani Conceal and Perfect concealer. So what I like to do with this one is I like to really make sure to add a lot of it right in here to make sure that I have hydration, where it can sometimes get a little bit dry on my skin. So if you're looking for something a little thicker as far as hydration goes, I think this is a great option. I know that ColourPop tried to do it with their new Pretty Fresh concealer, but it seems like even that one isn't as hydrating maybe as this one has been. That's why I haven't reached out to try it, because I haven't heard glowing reveals about the hydration factor with it, but that is how I feel about this one. Okay, let's talk about powders. There's two powders that I feel like have changed the game a little bit for me this year, and these might surprise you. They're probably not what you think I'm gonna say. The first one that I really dug into and started enjoying a lot this year is the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. I know this is not new in 2019, but it's the first time I've really gotten to play with it. And I have a bunch of these little mini guys that last forever. So this has been open for a very long time, and I don't even think I'm halfway through, and I do not use this lightly. I do not use it gently. Like, this thing, a little goes a long way, and it really does look so nice on the skin. And it has been a surprising product for me because I am not somebody who does like to be super mattified, but this one just looks so airbrushed that it has been quite a nice addition into my collection this year. So something actually that I have just tried within the last month that has made it to like the top of my pressed powders is the Physicians Formula The Healthy Powder. This is the first ever pressed powder that I have felt could work under my eyelids. So I usually am a loose powder girl when it comes to using a powder over my concealer, but something about this, I have this on my entire face today, and it sets your foundation and like any creams you have, but it does not mattify them. It still makes everything, like you can still see that I'm wearing a radiant foundation, even though I fully set it with this powder. It is something magical. Now, I personally do not like the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation. Not a popular opinion, I am very well aware. However, this is it. Like, this powder is just absolutely incredible in my opinion. Like, I may have found my favorite pressed powder for life. Not to be dramatic. Okay, now let's talk about brows. I didn't find a ton of new brow products that I was crazy about this year, but there is one that stands above the rest, and that is the LA Girl Shady Slim Brow Pencil. It's what I'm wearing in my brows today. This is top 2, top 3 favorite brow pencils I've ever tried. It totally overshined the CoverGirl brow pencil. It's overshined a lot of high-end brow pencils I've tried. It is absolutely amazing. This is my 4th one this year. It is sad that how quickly I go through them, but when it comes to like getting ready in the morning before work, like this is so easy to just throw in my brows and it lasts the entire day and it is fantastic. As far as brow gels go, I did not find any new ones I like this year. There is one that I have been recommended that I will hopefully get to try in 2020, so stay tuned for that. So nothing new for brow gels, and I didn't try any new eyeliners that just stood out to me this year. So next, let's go to bronzers. Okay, so we can start with the bronzer I'm wearing today. This is a bronzer that I feel like works so perfectly on me when I'm not self-tanned, and it is the Take Home the Bronze bronzer in the shade Oliver from The Balm. Something about this just looks super natural. Like, there are times where I want to look extra bronzy, and we have those moments, but there are some times where I just want my bronzer to kind of look like this is just what I woke up like I woke up like this, literally. I think this is the bronzer that does that for me, and it is just a wonderful, it is a wonderful product. Highly recommend. The next bronzer is my standout drugstore bronzer of the year, and that is the BH Cosmetics Brilliance Bronzer in the shade Golden Gal. This is a satin finish bronzer. It is this like nice warmth to it. So this is an anti-orange bronzer, whereas this one has a little bit more warmth to it. This is so beautiful on the skin. It's not fully matte, it has that satin finish. So it's right in between matte and like shimmery. So it kind of helps you like glisten, but without being like obnoxious. Something about this like caramely chocolate color just looks beautiful and bronzy. Okay, a bronzer that I've discovered this year, which isn't new and is kind of being trickled out unfortunately, is the Tarte Park Avenue Princess contour palette. This really has it all, it does it all. This shade right here called Princess Cut is perfection. Let's start with that. These setting powders are really nice and help brighten, and if like and are nice to like kind of touch up if I kind of mess anything up. But also it's one of those palettes where you kind of can do your eyes with it too, because it has different, I don't know, there's something about it where like I can do like a full facial look with my eyeshadow and everything with this palette. We have a shimmery one here, another matte, more orangey tone here. So when I'm self-tanned, I sometimes reach more into these shades on this end. It's just nice. The quality, it just blends out perfectly. It's not patchy. It's unlike any formula I have. And I've used the original Park Avenue Princess bronzer and never really liked it. So I had kind of hesitations going into using this, but it has been such a standout product to me this year. Okay, the next bronzer is kind of a face palette, so we can talk about the full face palette. It's the Smashbox Cali Contour Palette. Man, is this thing amazing. We have a fantastic bronzer here, a fantastic contour shade here, a very beautiful blush. This little setting powder is really nice. The only thing I'm not crazy about are the two highlights, because personally for me, they're too dark for my skin tone, but that could be different for someone else. But what I do like using them for is like, this can be a really nice inner corner highlight. You can kind of use them as eyeshadows if you're doing a full face look. To me, this is the standout face palette I have ever used in my entire life. I'm not joking. This is what I take every time I travel someplace. It is that special. And the actual compact, it's small enough where it is travel friendly, but also it's very, very sturdy, which I think is something important when it comes to palettes like this, where it kind of is something you want to take with you traveling. So highly, highly recommend this. Okay, I have 3 blush formulas to talk about. First product is from Bare Minerals, and this is their matte Gen Nude blushes. I have the shades That Peach Though and Let's Go Nude. I am wearing Let's Go Nude today. These blushes are such a nice long wearing matte formula. They're super easy to put on. Growing up in like high school, I always used the loose blushes from Bare Minerals, but these matte ones are such a good formula. If you like matte blushes, like this formula is fantastic. And I was actually able to find both of these at TJ Maxx. So if you see them there, snag them up, because these are not like discontinued products at all. These are still active for sale. They're always in palettes. Like there was a blush palette I really wanted this past year. What stopped me from getting it is this shade was in that palette. So I was like, no point in putting my money there, but such a great formula. Okay, another standout blush this year was in my 9 and 19 video. It's the Jouer Blush Duo in Rose Gold. I have been wanting to try the Jouer blushes for so long now, and I was so excited when they came out with a mini palette. These minis are extremely, so if you want to compare it to the size of the Gen Nude blushes, they're not that much smaller as far as mini goes. And it was $19, I believe, for this set. And it's 2 very different colors, which can work for different times of the year. Like this for me is like when I want something more cool tone, when I want something more warm tone. It's just nice. And the formula is beautiful. And I would love in 2020 to see Jouer make more mini duos, because I don't necessarily need the bigger size because I don't go through blush that quickly. So this is something I'd love to see in 2020. My standout cream blush of the year, I cannot stop reaching for, even on my vacation. I used it every day on vacation. It's the ColourPop Blush Sticks. I love this thing. I have the shade Hooked. So I never have like applied it like this on my face. What I do is I just take my brush, swirl it around on this thing and apply it, and I just love it so much, so much. I like the pigmentation it gives over the Flower Beauty blush bombs, because those are very subtle. This is more of a like dramatic, like I want you to see the blush on my face, because I've been kind of a blush girl lately, and this does that for me. So I highly recommend this formula if you are looking to try cream blushes. All right, I have 2 highlighters to talk about. The first one is I really finally got into Ofra this year. I feel like this was my year of Ofra, and their highlighters are so amazing. So I purchased Star Island here as an add-on in an Ipsy bag early this year, and I fell in love with the shade. I mean, like, I'm sure you can see that from space. So this shade here kind of helped me like really want to reach out into Ofra more, and I was super excited when Samantha March came out with her collab, because she had Star Island as part of her collab, and I knew I would love it right away because of that. So for me, this product kind of helped me want to try more Ofra, and there is going to be more Ofra in this video, let me tell you. So Ofra was one of my favorite brands I played with this year for sure. Let's talk about this because I know this is a discontinued product, but I found it at TJ Maxx and oh my gosh, it is the highlight I am wearing today. This highlight from Glam Glow has hyaluronic acid in it, and something about it just makes it sink into your skin and not sit on top of the texture of your skin. And all I do is I literally just take my brush and I swirl it around these two shades, and need I say more? It's just such a healthy looking formula. I really want Glam Glow to come out with more of this. Even if they could do them in singles, I think that would be fantastic. I feel like that would be more accessible to people instead of having one $40 palette, have, you know, them in singles to make them more affordable and more user friendly, since, you know, I never even reach into this shade because it's too dark for me. That is something else I'd love to see happen this year. Okay, let's do eyeshadows. I picked 5 eyeshadow palettes that I feel like made me the happiest this year, let's call it. Okay, the first here is so messy because I am messy, is the Natasha Denona Mini Nude palette. If you had told me a year ago that I was gonna buy a Natasha Denona palette this year, I would have been like, in what world? But even when I first bought this, I was like, is this worth $25? But you know what? I would say it is. It's so easy to use. As somebody who gets up at 5 a.m. for work every day, like this is a good getting up early for work palette. I am super interested in the new Cool Tone one she put out. I'm wanting to watch reviews before I make the dive in. I'm trying to hold out until my birthday in February to make a Sephora purchase, so that might be part of the purchase, but this has just been fantastic this year. Another palette I really enjoyed this year, which again I think is being discontinued, is the Huda Beauty Smokey Obsessions palette. I took this on my trip to New York, and it's such like, it's a neutral palette, but it also has that ability to be daytime neutral and nighttime fun, and I love that about this one. So I really do like this. This was the first year I was able to try Huda Beauty, and I tried 3 of the palettes, and this one was my fave. Okay, I have 2 ColourPop palettes here, so 2 out of the 5 are ColourPop. The first one is the one I'm wearing on my eyes. I doubt this is gonna surprise anyone. It's the Sweet Talk palette. What makes this palette to me is honestly this shade here. The fact that they put a Super Shock shadow in the palette makes me question, why aren't there Super Shock shadows in every palette now that they come out with? Because to me, that makes this entire palette worth the money. Just this one shade alone. You'll have to let me know if you agree, but that's why I love this so much. Now, they did their color palettes this year, and I bought 3 out of them all. And the one that I like the most is the Orange You Glad palette. I love orange eyeshadow, and the colors in this palette are different than oranges I have in other palettes, which is something I like, because as somebody who loves orange, it's fun for me to be able to play with different types of oranges. Again, I don't get why there is a pressed glitter. The pressed glitters have kind of turned me away from ColourPop a lot this year. Like, if this pressed glitter could maybe be a Super Shock, that's what I want. So, such a fan of this one. This was my favorite. I know a lot of like the pinky and purpley ones were people's favorites this year, but those tones are not my fave. So I was really excited that they came out with an orange palette this year. The last fave of this year, also one that has been discontinued, is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette. It's the first time I've ever tried Anastasia Beverly Hills. I wouldn't have paid full price for this. I was able to get this for $25, $28, I think, at TJ Maxx. It definitely makes me interested in trying the brand more, but again, it doesn't make me feel like I need to have the brand more. I know this is this brand has a following that has a collector mentality, but for me, not so much. I'm just excited to have this one. I know there are other ones that are being found now at TJ Maxx, but still none of the color stories call to me quite as much as this one. It's, you know, this year is the year I've really tried to get into the cool tones, and this one definitely puts me out of my comfort zone, but I've even been able, you know, play with the silvers and the grays down here and go wild. Now let's talk setting spray. This isn't even really a setting spray, it's like a face mist, but out of all of the new ones I tried this year, this one stands out to me the most. I got it for free in my Ipsy Creator Day swag bag, and it is the Sweet Chef Ginger Kombucha Vitamin D Chill Mist. Oh my God. I could put some on right now, why not? It has the most fine, wonderful feeling mist. And something about the ginger in this, like, kind of like refreshes you and wakes you up. I don't know, something about it is not like anything I've ever used before. And I have been very much enjoying the products I've tried from this brand. And it's definitely a brand that I want to try a lot more from in 2020. If you're not familiar with Sweet Chef, it is like, I believe, a sister company to Glow Recipe, but it's more of the drugstore version that you can find at Target. So this has been my favorite spray that I found in this year. All right, let's talk about mascara. I am the pickiest when it comes to mascara, but this year was the year of me finding new mascaras that I like, which is a big deal because I've kind of been on the Benefit Roller Lash train for a couple years now, and I have jumped on some new trains. Let's just get it out of the way. The Thrive mascara is amazing. I think mine is almost empty. Like, it's getting there, because when I was putting it on today, I was like, oh, there's not a lot left on this wand. So I actually think I'm almost completely out of this tube, but this is such a good mascara, lasts so long. You don't need a lot of it, which, you know, some mascaras you need like 3 coats of. You don't need a lot of it. It doesn't smudge, it doesn't flake. It's just, it is really cool. And I like that Thrive donates some of their proceeds to charity. So it's like a really cool brand. And one of my things I want to do in 2020 is actually try other products from their brand. Okay, I'm not going to open this one in this video because it's literally brand new and I'm not trying to open it up quite yet, but this is the Wander Beauty Mile High Club Mascara. Wow. Wow. I did not expect to like this quite as much as I do. So it is a natural bristle brush, but something about it makes my lashes look so full and beautiful. And that's not the type of brush that I usually like when it comes to the way my lashes work. This probably was the biggest surprise as far as trying new products this year, because I kind of expected it to be like a flop, but I found myself reaching for this constantly all year and went through a full tube of it already. As far as drugstore mascaras go, I can be very picky and I am not a big fan of them. This one to me stood out so much, the Lash Princess Waterproof from Essence. This is waterproof and it does a really good job at it. Up until this point, I hadn't really found a waterproof mascara at the drugstore that I really liked so much. And considering this is $4.99, I'm pretty sure at Ulta, I will definitely be repurchasing this when this runs out, because before this, I was using the Lancome Monsieur Big as my go-to waterproof mascara, and you know what? I'm fine stepping down to this one. Last product I'm going to talk about is a lash primer, and that is the CoverGirl Lash Lift Amplify Primer. Man, is this a lifesaver when it comes to really bad mascaras. The wand really gets in and coats every single lash and helps. Oh, this might be dried out. This is kind of older. I do have a backup that I already purchased, but this really goes in and helps make a bad mascara work. So as somebody who's trying new products all the time, if I try a mascara that really isn't all that great, it's nice to be able to have something like this that lets me, you know, take advantage of using that mascara and not just like letting it go to waste. So I really have been enjoying this so much this year, hence why I have a backup. Now, before we get into liquid lipstick, I didn't bring any bullet lipsticks into this video because I didn't feel like, while there were formulas I really like, I think liquid lipstick is kind of still what I reached for the most this year. And a lot of that is because I go to work in the morning, and for me, throwing on a liquid lipstick is the easiest for, you know, going into work and drinking my coffee. But before we do that, we need to talk about the Hourglass lip gloss. I'm gonna put a picture here because if you're not familiar with what's happened, I got a fungal infection on my lips on vacation, and anything I used on vacation had to get trashed, which included my all-time favorite lip gloss. But the Hourglass lip gloss is so comfortable, has the perfect pigmentation, isn't sticky, wears perfectly. Like, I cannot go over a list of how much I love this lip gloss. It's the lip gloss I wore to Ipsy Creator Day. It's just, it is perfection to me. It is the most expensive lip gloss I've ever worn in my life, and I don't like that about it. But I think because of the way I feel about it, I definitely might buy it when I do my birthday Sephora purchase in February, because I miss it already. And now that we're through that, we can talk about 5 liquid lipstick formulas that I've tried this year that have really stuck out to me as These are the ones I grab when I need to put on a lipstick and go. First is Ofra. I told you we'd be talking about Ofra some more. I really gave the Ofra liquid lipstick formula a go this year, and I really fell in love with it. I have 2 full size and 6 minis. I didn't know if you guys would want swatches in this video, but I figured let's do some swatches so you can get an idea of the shades I like. I love all these shades. First of all, these minis are great for the purse. I had to go and grab some of these out of my purse because they're perfect purse size. So I have the shades Pasadena, Manila, Sedona. These also have like kind of that frosting smell. If you're not into that, these do have the frosting scent. Aspen, Tuscany, Unzipped, Portland, and Palo Alto. So I thought it would be nice for you guys to be able to tell the difference between the different shades. And now I have 4 other formulas to talk about. The only one I have 2 of is the Dose of Colors liquid lipsticks. I actually received both of these on Boxy Charms this year, and that was fantastic because wow, do I love this formula. The first shade that I got that really turned me on to this formula is the shade Lazy Daisy, and it is just like the perfect kind of like cool tone mauve shade. Whew, do I love that, and I have worn the heck out of that shade this year. This other one is new to my collection, and I don't know if you can buy this shade or if it was made exclusively for BoxyCharm, but this shade is called Nude Mood, and whew, I love that. I really do. It is such a comfortable formula, and I just love it. Next 2 liquid lipsticks are on the more not affordable end of the spectrum, I would say. So I only have 1 of each shade. The first is the Lawless liquid lipsticks. This is actually what I'm wearing today. This is the shade George, and this has a moussier kind of formula than other liquid lipsticks I've tried. So if you prefer something more moussey, this is quite that. I really do like the brand. This is all I've tried from it so far, but it is a clean beauty brand, if that's something that is important to you. But do I love this liquid lipstick. The other brand I tried that I really loved is the M Cosmetics liquid lipstick. I have the shade Rose Nude, and this also is a little bit moussey, but it's a very thin formula if you prefer a thin liquid lipstick. But I, again, find this to be a very comfortable formula and super long wearing. And now I have 1 liquid lipstick from the drugstore that stood out that I could not stop wearing, especially all summer. This is the Revlon Ultra HD Matte Lip Color in the shade Seduction. This smells like fruit popsicles, and I could not, okay, I did a horrible job swatching that, wow. I could not stop wearing this the entire summer. This was the easiest color to just throw on and go. Like, you know, when you don't have a mirror around but you need to touch up, this was that lip color to me. Now I'm going to wipe this all off before we talk some more. Okay, so I know that was a lot of products, but I wanted to really narrow down to what I thought was the best of the best this year. So you'll have to let me know, what were your favorite products you guys tried out this year? Was it any of this stuff, or was it something different? You'll have to let me know down in the comments. And as usual, thanks for stopping by my channel. If you're new here, click the subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. I have my Twitter and my Instagram down below. Give them a follow, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.